In this section, we're going to talk about the volumes of pyramids and cones. So let's go ahead and do pyramids first and get the formulas written down for both. And interestingly enough, they have the same formula for their volumes. All right, so let's take a look at an example for a pyramid. Let's find the volume of one of those guys. Okay, so right now, if this is my picture, I have one side here that's 40 feet and one side that's 25 feet. And we're going to leave the height, I'm sorry, the 25 feet is not that part. I'm sorry, that's the lateral height, your slant height. That's L. Okay, I'm sorry about that. All right, so in order to use this formula, though, I have to know what the height is, and that's my perpendicular height. So we have to come up with a method to find that because we don't know it right now. But let's go ahead and find what we do know. Capital B stands for the area of the base, and the area of the base is a square for all pyramids. Well, not all pyramids, but for this particular one. So to find the area of that, I do width times length, which is 40 times 40, and that's going to give us 1600. Now for the height part. If you look, we have just created inside this pyramid a right triangle. And I know, I'm going to kind of re-sketch it over here and blow it up. I know that this side here is 25 feet long. This is what I'm looking for, and I actually do know this length down here because it's half of that base, which is 40. So half of 40 is 20. And how do we find a missing side of a right triangle? It's the Pythagorean theorem. So I can set it up like 20 squared plus h squared equals 25 squared. And this comes from this formula. And C is always your hypotenuse. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. All right, so 20 squared is 400. And 25 squared is 625. So now we're going to subtract 400 from both sides. So h squared equals 225. And then to cancel out something being squared, we square root both sides, and the square root of 225 is 15. So I'm going to go back up into my formula, and I'm going to erase that h, and I'm going to replace that with a 15. So now I'm going to go to my calculator and type everything in. So 1/3 times 1600 times 15, and that gives me 8,000 cubic feet. So that's how you're going to do your pyramids. All right, now it's time for a cone. Okay, so in this cone, it's kind of like a slanted cone. We are already given the actual altitude height, which is 25 feet. And then down here in the center of that circle base, we have a diameter of 30. So let's see what we can do. The volume is going to be 1/3 times the area of the base. Well, the area of the base is a circle, so that's going to be pi r squared. So what is the radius if the diameter is 30? And the answer to that is it's going to be 15. So now we have to square 15, and that's going to give us 225. So that's 225 pi. And now we're going to multiply that by the height. And I know the perpendicular height this time. It's 25. And we want to leave this in terms of pi if we can. So let's go ahead and use our calculators. And I'm going to do the 1/3 times 225 times 25 to give me 1,875 pi cubic feet. And that's it. And that concludes this tutorial.